This is Step 1 with Freddie Wilson. Welcome to another episode of Step 1. I am Freddie Wilson. As a reminder, you can find every episode of Step 1 on Spotify and YouTube. And if you want to see more Step 1, give me a follow on Instagram at Step 1 with Freddie Wilson and Twitter at Step 1 Podcasts. Got a great show for you today. It's officially basketball season, and we're doing our second annual NBA preview with both Jacob Feldstein and Simon Gelbard joining the show. We've got an awesome weekend of football to recap where the Oregon Ducks are number one and Aaron Rodgers is officially washed. All right, let's ride. We had a great weekend of college football, and it all started on Friday night in West Lafayette, Indiana, where the Oregon Ducks steamrolled the Purdue Boilermakers. I know sometimes in the Big Ten, Purdue is the trap game. You know, they call them the spoil makers. But Purdue is much more worse than they are in other years. Like, they got a true freshman QB playing his second game. Their defensive-minded coach fired their offensive coordinator, or I think he resigned, whatever. So now this guy, who's never called offensive plays, as a defensive-minded guy, he's calling the offense. So it was no issue for the Ducks. They were the better team. They shut them out on Friday night. It was the first time they shut out a team in a long time. It was an awesome win. Also on Friday night, BYU stayed undefeated as the BYU Jew, Jake Retzlaff, led the Cougars to a game-winning drive. BYU is a legitimate contender in the Big 12, and they have a manageable schedule. So I think BYU, with the way they're playing, we're going to see them in the Big 12 championship. I think they're the real deal. Like, they've come alive, and it's been a lot of fun. Moving into Saturday, Indiana is still undefeated with a convincing win against Nebraska. Now, their quarterback did go down with an injury, but they still had a dominant second half, even though he wasn't playing. I do think Indiana's really good, but their schedule gets a little harder. They do play Ohio State in November. Also, their quarterback is injured, so he's not starting this weekend against Washington. So, again, we'll see what happens, but it's been a fun weekend, or a fun year, I mean, and yeah, Indiana's good. No one expected this, so I think they have a good enough team even without their quarterback, because their backup quarterback isn't bad either. Also, Army and Navy are still undefeated with dominant wins by both teams. Missouri barely beat Auburn, proving my point that I don't think Missouri's all that good, and they are a very overrated team. Miami was able to pull out a win against Louisville despite some, let's just say, bad defense. Miami's looking like a strong contender in the ACC, but I don't think they're national championship contenders. Their schedule has been relatively easy. They do have a couple trap games coming up, I guess, but like, again, if Miami wins the ACC, yeah, they're still good, but like once they play like a real team, and no, I know they beat Florida, but that's not a real team. I'm talking about like a real like Big Ten, SEC, even Big 12 team. Like Miami's going to struggle, all right? And they don't have an opportunity to prove us they're a real deal because, again, it's not that hard of a schedule. They are avoiding Clemson, at least in the regular season. Florida State's bad, so it's not a very easy schedule. So I just don't see Miami being a national contender. Tennessee got a rare win against Alabama down in Rocky Top. Alabama fans just don't know how to handle this anymore. They have been so spoiled with good football, and they've been used to dominating teams like Tennessee for so long, and this is just unfamiliar territory. Now, with the new 12-team playoff, they're still in okay shape, but they got to win out. Then they're going to need a bit of luck. So, it's not over for Alabama. You still have to win against Georgia, but it's a tough situation if you're an Alabama fan right now. However, Tennessee's defense was lights out on Saturday, and the offense, once again, they struggled a lot during this game. Tennessee's offense can be explosive, but Nico Imilavea went from playing like Hendon Hooker at the start of the season to going to Joe Milton real fast. Again, it's a great offense. He's making some of the right reads, but like he's overthrowing dudes. It's, they got to figure it out because, again, they had a great game, but, the offense needs to get back to where it was. But now that they're playing better defenses, maybe it wasn't always that good to begin with. Uh, I think their defense is going to keep them in games, and that's going to be crucial when they play Georgia in a few weeks. Again, this Tennessee team is fun. I think they're really good, but I don't know if they can keep this up as long if the offense continues to play like this. Illinois got a big program win against Michigan. It's just going from bad to worse for Michigan. If they don't have a quarterback, they can mess up any offense, and Illinois was able to get a big win. And also, awesome uniforms they were wearing. It looked like the old school leather head football helmets. Just a great uniform all around. Cool jerseys, cool helmets. A plus, Illinois. We had a field rush in College Park as Maryland got a comeback win against USC. USC's not doing well in the Big Ten. I don't know why they thought they would. They're probably like the main reason why we have all this realignment mess to begin with. Let's be honest. Like, I know you can't really blame one team, but if we could blame one team, it would be USC. And you know what? USC is not doing well. They are not backing up this idea they had. Lincoln Riley can't figure out how to hold a lead, and they've now lost 3 games in a row. That win against LSU's looked good, but they haven't done a whole lot since, and they just can't figure out how to win in the Big Ten. And I don't see how they're going to keep winning or how to start winning in the Big Ten. So I think, again, I said at the start of the season, Lincoln Riley might be on a hot seat. Again, USC fans might get impatient. I wouldn't be surprised if he's out at the end of the season. Texas is apparently not back after a blowout loss against Georgia. And we need to talk about that change penalty call because although I agree, the end result was the right call. Ref shouldn't have, but the ref should have changed the penalty call after students throw beer cans on the field. I know you made it the right call, but you can't let the fans think if they just throw beer cans on the field that they will get what they want. It's a bad precedent. But besides that, Texas really struggled on offense. Georgia was able to march in Austin, get a statement win. It was a great weekend. Like, if you're a Georgia fan, like, you're a bit down your luck. You see Alabama lose again, which is key, and then you beat the number one team in the country. Like, great weekend if you're a Georgia fan. Also, Iowa State is undefeated, and I think the Cyclones are a team that are underrated. They find ways to win games. I don't, they're a top 10 team, and we're not talking enough about them. If we're talking Big 12, obviously we're talking about BYU. I guess a lot of the media talks about Colorado, but like we're not talking about what could be the best team in the Big 12, and that is the Iowa State Cyclones. Moving into the NFL, chaotic weekend of the NFL, and it all started Thursday night with Sean Payton returning to New Orleans to take on the Saints. The Saints looked rough. It's not all their fault. They have a fifth-round quarterback named Spencer Rattler starting. Broncos defense is pretty good. Saints fans felt like they had something going to start the season, but that quickly dissipated. Again, it's been a lot of injuries. Like, you can't really control that. However, the Broncos just continue to find ways to win games. And I will admit, Bo Nix isn't playing great yet. That's the key word. I still think he's great. Maybe we're not there yet, but soon, soon. Just you wait. Moving to Sunday, we had another London game where the Jaguars were able to get a much needed win against the Patriots. Again, I will say this, not a game that England deserves at all. I don't understand why they do this to England. There are football fans in England who deserve better. And I say it every week. I think I said it last year too. Blows my mind. That's not the point. The Patriots are looking for answers. It's not great when their coach is describing his entire team as soft. Jaguars are not much better, but one of the teams had to win this game. So good win for the Jaguars, I guess, but let's not get too much hope down Jacksonville. They're still really bad. Moving into the early afternoon, the Vikings are no longer undefeated after falling to the Lions. Both teams are really good. This game was an awesome game. And the NFC North is going to be a bloodbath going down a stretch, the way all the teams are playing. The Buffalo Bills welcomed Amari Cooper to the team as they got a big win. The Colts figured out how to win a game with Anthony Richardson. Although they were playing the Dolphins, that doesn't mean much. That being said, there is talk about Tua's coming back next weekend. We'll see if that really improves the Dolphins that much. I mean, I think it will, but again, who knows how good Tua's going to be? Like, that was a rough concussion, his third of his career. Like, we'll see. Because the last time he came back from a concussion, it didn't work out too well for him because he got another one, but also he wasn't playing that well to begin with before he got the next one. So we'll see what happens. The Packers got a big win against the Texans. Not a perfect game by any means, but We got the job done. We got work to do, but we found a way to get the win, and the defense played great as always. The Bengals got a rare win against the Browns, and although the Browns were already bad, and now Deshaun Watson is out for the season, so maybe the Browns can finally find a way to cut him. Also, we just found out Jameis Winston is going to be starting for the Browns next weekend, so maybe that'll boost some life into the Browns. Again, I think the Bengals needed this win. They got it. Deshaun Watson's also injured. I think the Browns fans shouldn't be booing a guy for getting injured, but when it's Deshaun Watson, I totally understand. He's not a great dude. And I do think the Browns are going to be better with Jameis Winston because if you've ever listened to a Jameis Winston hype speech, I would run for a brick wall for that man. The Giants still can win at MetLife as the Eagles dominated them. The Commanders got a blowout win despite Jane Daniels getting injured. It looks like it's going to be okay for now. And they do have Marcus Mariota, who is not a bad backup QB to have. So I think the Commanders are still in good shape. And in the Super Bowl rematch, the Chiefs were able to stay undefeated as they beat the 49ers. 49ers are still a good team, but they have a lot of injuries, and it's just getting from bad to worse for them. Ayuk is out for the season. Debo has pneumonia. He was in a hospital. He's out now, but who knows how healthy he is. Kittle's banged up. It's just the 49ers are just struggling just because they don't have dudes right now. It's not their fault. They're not a bad team. They just don't have the guys they need. But I think if they get at least some of those guys back, especially if McCaffrey comes back, they're still going to be really good. The season is not over for the 49ers. Do not write them off. Moving into Sunday night, the Jets are an absolute mess right now, and Aaron Rodgers is finally showing his age. Even with the addition of Devontae Adams, Jets couldn't do much on offense, and they were shut out in the second half. The Steelers' offense looked better with Russell Wilson at the helm, but if the Steelers are making their name with strong defense, and the defense was awesome last night. So I think, it's a different offense with Russell Wilson. I think it's a slightly better one. So I think that's all the Steelers need because the defense is that good. Moving into Monday night, we had two games. First game, we saw the Ravens offense in full effect, and we saw the Tampa Bay Buccaneers suffer some very unfortunate injuries. Looks like Chris Godwin's out for the season. Mike Evans is out for a few weeks. Those are two key guys on the Buccaneers offense. I still think Tampa Bay is in very good shape. Given the nature of a division, I think they have a chance to at least make the playoffs. But the Falcons are in a rise, so it might be a tight race for the division between those two teams. But again, the fact that the Buccaneers are in that division really helps. As for the other game, the Chargers need to get the offense going. They played well enough to win, but their offense couldn't find the end zone, and they badly need a receiver. If only they had, playmakers like, Keenan Allen or Austin Eckler, just name a couple guys. If only they had them. The Cardinals got a much-needed win, though, and the way the NFC West is shaping up, it's up for grabs. And I don't think the Cardinals are going to win. I still think the 49ers are the best team in that division, even with all the injuries. But, the Rams are bad. The Seahawks aren't that great either. So the NFC West might be up for grabs. And now let's get to my interview with Jacob Feldstein and Simon Gelbard. Okay, Taylor, welcome on two reoccurring guests. This is the first time you've done this together where you're not in the same room.
Yeah.
Second annual NBA preview. Simon Gelbard, Jacob Feldstein. Basketball's back. How excited are we for this NBA season?
Not that
Moderately excited.
No, dude. It's kind of still football season. Baseball's coming
I know.
up.
I kind of feel the same vibe. I don't get into basketball until after the Super Bowl, to be honest.
Freddie, I'm gonna be honest, Freddie. Until this morning, I didn't know the basketball started tomorrow. So
and you call yourself a fan?
I know.
If it makes you feel any better, I was going through the summer of the NBA off season to make sure I remembered everything that happened over the summer. It's every once in a while, a trade that's kind of notable might slip or a free agent signing.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to refresh myself a little bit.
What was something you forgot about?
I forgot that Karl Anthony Towns got traded to the Knicks. And that was recent too.
The big one.
That was recent too.
Is that the biggest trade this offseason?
I think so.
I think the Knicks have made the biggest splash. All right, while we're talking the Knicks, let's start the Eastern Conference.
Is it the biggest Knicks trade?
Are the Celtics winning the Eastern Conference again?
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
yes, and I'm not biased. I really do think they're the best team in the East.
I think the
they
best
are.
NBA by far.
They're gonna win it all, and that's the NBA preview.
Well,
And we're
but
gonna try signing off. Thank you.
who's gonna stop the like who could stop the Celtics? Like obviously,
Me with a sniper rifle.
okay, that is a possibility. I think a team we forget about because last season was such a bust. The Milwaukee Bucks are pretty good. I think
Freddie, I actually agree with you. I think people have been sleeping on the Milwaukee Bucks way too much.
well, I think we slept on them because of how disappointing last year was.
Yeah,
And Damian Lillard didn't play that well last year, and it was kind of disappointing.
I think a full year of Doc Rivers, I think that helps a little
well,
bit.
does it, Jeff Van Gundy?
I think just
Yeah.
having a coach stability helps.
I think maybe this year Damian will improve. I mean, last year he was in the bottom 10% of BER, bounce efficiency rating, and
Which is what, out of curiosity?
well,
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, what is that?
But you guys know that's it's the efficiency at which a player bounces the ball during a game, measuring both frequency and precision.
Right, it's about the
bounce.
dribbles and
Exactly.
It's a real nerd stat, but okay.
bottom 10% is crazy because I think of that like a big man, but
no, but he was exactly.
I know. There's always a couple cards you sneak in, but even still, I mean, yeah, but it's an efficiency thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think the Bucks are going to be better. Again, like they'll make the playoffs. Just a question of can they win a playoff series this year?
Did they make any big additions, subtractions?
I don't think so. No, I think it's more or less the same
Marchand?
Bojan Bogdanovic.
No.
I don't know. Okay,
no,
I don't know all.
Marchand.
There's so many Bojans and Bogdans. I don't know. I can't pronounce them. There's like 3 different Bogdanoviches still.
Yeah, Bojan Bogdanovic.
Boban. Oh, that's Boban Marjanovic.
And they're all pretty good. So.
Yeah, they're
all
Nikola
decent role players.
There's a Nikola Jokic and a Nikola Jovic.
Yeah.
And now Nikola Topic.
And Topic.
There's 3
Vucevic.
Nicolas. There's a bunch of dudes with the last name Williams. Like, there's a lot
Luka
of
Garza and Luka Doncic.
There's a Luka Garza. I remember.
Well, the Williams I'm able to keep track of because
well, there's like 5
there's 2
different
LeBron
Americans.
Jameses.
There's 2 LeBron Jameses.
There are. But yes, all right. Another Eastern Conference team, 76ers. I mean, I think we talked about them over the summer when they got Paul George.
Yes.
I think they're good. It's just a question of like, let's say they're healthy, if they are healthy in the playoffs, how far do they make it? If Embiid actually plays in the playoffs, which is I think
they're a real threat. I mean, Paul George is never healthy, and neither is Embiid, so that's an issue.
I mean, I've heard rumors that Embiid might not even play back-to-backs this season. Like,
yeah,
just because they're like so, which I think is a hard no.
He said that it was from him.
That's so
one of those crazy rumors that is the guy confirming it himself.
Like, I understand.
How
like
did this
maybe
get started?
I understand maybe not playing a third game of like 3 games in 4 days, but like not playing back-to-backs entirely. Come on.
Look, the only thing is nothing matters for them until in the playoffs. You just need to get a top 4 seed, probably top 3 seed ideally for them. And then that's when everything matters. There's no more, this is Joel Embiid, by the way, who's cried about not getting the MVP. It was so fair. I didn't want
I mean, he's a former MVP. I don't know what he's crying about.
Because he begged for it. It was before. Like, this is a guy who cares about regular season awards and stuff like that. That sort of recognition. But he's not, and Simon would have the facts to back this up, but he's not, his drop off from the playoffs or from the regular season to the playoffs is so monumental that whatever, 6, 7, 8 years into his career, he's got to start accounting for that. You had something written down about that, Simon?
No, I'm glad you led me into that segue because
we were talking about it before.
Because not only has Joel Embiid's offensive numbers gone down from the regular season to the playoffs, but people don't know is that his defensive stance fluidity, his DSF, has also dropped dramatically.
This is a real stat.
It is. It's actually one of those second spectrum.
It tracks how smoothly a player transitions between different defensive stances during a game, and he doesn't get in and out of his stance well enough to be an elite.
You just have a spreadsheet of like all these weird stats that you whip out.
These are the important stats, Freddie.
Numbers don't lie.
Exactly. And you know what? I think that probably has something to do with health. And so maybe if he stays healthy, his DSF will remain steady from the regular season to the playoffs. But
Honestly, it could increase because there's, in the playoffs, you're going so much more intense that your DSF should, in theory, I don't know, you know the numbers better than me, but I feel like on average, people
I feel this is a made up stat, but
improve.
I'm all here for it.
How could it be made up?
I don't know. It just
I
sounds
wouldn't make
really
you say that.
weird, very specific.
Freddie, let me
Of course,
demonstrate
it's
for you.
specific.
Ready?
It's
I
statistics.
understand what you're doing, like defense.
Yeah, let the people see. Let the people
Let
see.
people see.
Ready? Okay, ready? You're in your defensive stance.
Okay.
Right?
Get in your
Let's go.
defensive stance,
And you go
buddy.
block shot. Defensive stance. Do it with me, Jacob.
I think we need to
All
go
right.
a little lower, all right?
Yeah.
Not be able to swipe those balls.
Well, it also measures the center of gravity from the ground. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so other East teams that could maybe be a contender, like I think the Cavaliers will be good again.
And they're not really much of a threat, though, are they?
But I think they'll be good. Pacers, Pacers had a good thing going last season.
Yeah, the Pacers. I don't think they're going to repeat it.
Sorry, Halloran's up.
What?
You just switch shirts.
No, I didn't. I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyways, so Pacers, like, are there any other East Coast? Here's a fun question: are there any dark horse Eastern Conference teams that we don't
I
talk
got
about enough? Yes,
I think the Orlando Magic are going to be very
Orlando Magic.
good. Whoa. Orlando Magic.
Cool shirt.
Good shirt, Simon.
Magic Mike.
I think the Orlando Magic are like kind of going very underrated for real. I think Paulo, this is like a very competent team.
It's a tall
And with
team
Paulo-
too, and it's a tall team. Like I think they have the tallest starting lineup.
How about my boy Markel getting cut, though?
I believe that.
That's crazy.
Who?
Markel Fultz.
Yeah, what's that? What's his
Well, he
name?
didn't get cut. He just didn't get signed. And so I mean,
Yeah.
Is he on a team now, or is he free agent?
he's a free agent right now.
I
Free
think
agent.
I think
League's
someone
too-
will pick
league's
him
too
up.
Deep. Lonnie
Some-
Walker can't get a job.
Someone will pick him up. Like he's good enough as a role player that someone will pick him up eventually.
You're right.
But I think the Magic, I agree. The Magic are an underrated team in the East. The Miami Heat maybe could make a run.
I'm done with mine. Well,
You're done with Heat culture.
He's
I
off the Heatles.
I'm off the Heatles.
I
I don't
think-
like Bam. But that's not true.
But again,
How do I
like
feel
if
about
Jimmy
the Heat?
Butler has a playoff run
I
like
don't
he
like
did
Jimmy.
2 years ago, like you can't rule them out.
Tell you what, I like that he didn't do his like silly hair for me today. I think it's disrespectful.
I thought it was fun, but yes, it was a look. But I thought like he was
Disrespectful
actually gonna wear
to the
that like
media.
all year long. But no,
Yes.
he just did it for a day.
It's good. Yeah, it actually is.
I
very
thought he
funny,
like
but
actually like intentionally did that to do it all year, but no, he.
I'm glad he
just
dropped
does
the
for today.
bit. Let's not,
It's an
something.
interesting choice. All right,
I'm
let's.
not a huge Jimmy guy, but
I think playoff Jimmy was that 1 year was really fun. I know the Celtics lost, but like it was still fun. All right, Western Conference,
Oh, okay.
Lakers, Simon,
Why we gotta start with the Lakers, man?
because
Fuck
Simon's
the
a Lakers fan. That's
All right.
why.
That's true.
Uh,
let, me
yeah,
let me tell you something about the Lakers.
biggest nepotism
Talking about the
draft
cold ass
ever.
white boys.
Right, that's what I'm about to tell him about. I'm about to tell him that the Lakers are the coldest white boys in the NBA. We got AR-15,
Dalton
Connect 4. We got that's 2 right there. Right? Good, nice shirt, Jacob. I like that.
Thanks, man. Just supporting the team.
And
Oh.
the good all around team built from the guards with D'Lo all the way up to the centers with
Anthony Davis.
If we can force him to play center, I know he hates it, but
Boy,
I
does he.
like the team. I like the team.
Ronnie James. I saw him play when he came out to play Oregon when I was still in Oregon. Again, I understand he was coming back from the heart thing he had, but like I wasn't crazy impressed. I don't think he was as good. I think he's only notable because his name is LeBron James Jr.
No way, Freddie.
You think they're related?
Again, that is not a hot take. That is a very common take, but I
Wow.
agree with it.
You know what? One thing I will give Bronny, and I don't think he's good at basketball at all. But he's made the most of his situation. The last preseason game, he came in there, he scored 17 points. I think it was 17. He had an extremely high VRV when he was playing.
What is VRV?
You guys don't know these stats. It's
I
really
don't.
Freddie doesn't. Freddie's not looking at the advanced stats like we are.
Jacob
Look
knows
VRV.
this.
I just watch ball, man. You think I'm
Jacob
looking at
knows
specific
this,
stats?
Jacob knows this, but it's the vertical rotation velocity, which is the amount that someone turns and torques their body while in midair, while finishing a dunk or a layup.
They track your torso, they track your head, the movement.
Exactly. So it's all about body control, right? And so just like his dad, he's got great VRV, and I think that's a real determining factor for how a slasher can be in the NBA. And so I'm excited to see him improve. I mean, his CPHI isn't that high right now. We'll get into that later. But
CPHI.
We'll get into that later.
I don't know what it is.
Come on, Freddie.
Anyways, what do you think he's gonna call his dad when he's asking LeBron James Sr. for the ball? He's like, "Dad, over here in the corner."
I think Daddy. Daddy, pass me the ball.
Daddy, throw it up there.
Hey, Daddy, pass me the ball.
Hey, Pop.
I will say, and we've only briefly mentioned him, but we're talking about him now. But LeBron James, I don't know if you guys have heard of him. Bronny's dad. Year 23.
Yeah.
How much longer is this fucker going to go on?
This year is not the retirement year.
This fucker can't keep going on much longer.
This year is not the retirement year. I think 2 more years. Because he's not going to, unless he announces retirement right this second.
Yeah, but is he going to be good?
LeBron James is going to get the ultimate retirement tour. He's going to...
that's going to be nauseating.
And also, imagine, if it's, he's playing Eastern Conference team the year he retires.
Get any classy do
how expensive that ticket's going to be. That's going to be the hottest ticket for every city. And I think, we'll see what happens. I think, I don't think this is his last year. I think I think he wants to do it every year. We'll see how the Lakers are. And if they're good, maybe he does a retirement year. I don't know. It just seems like the guy is still a top 10 player in the league.
Yeah, easily.
At his age, that's very impressive.
And
I think he wanted to play with his son, and he is, and he's also handpicked the coach. Which Simon, JJ Redick.
Oh my God, we didn't even talk about JJ.
I'm a big JJ fan.
I think he's going to be a great coach. I just think your first job being the Lakers head coach is such a hard task. It is not. It's the hardest job in sports.
But I think he's a really smart, basketball mind.
Oh, I think he's great. I think the podcast was awesome.
And I think
he's pretentious. That's much we know.
Having a player like LeBron on the team, I think definitely
it helps that LeBron already likes.
You think that's going to help having LeBron James on the team?
It already helps that he likes JJ
Redick.
Because he knows JJ well enough to be I can kind of control the show here, and JJ just is the guy in the pullover sweater.
Tell you what,
coaches the team.
LeBron's running the asylum. That's what we know.
It's
his toy now. Now that we're talking about a game, we're pissed off about the Lakers.
All right,
it's all just LeBron James' big toy that he can play with his son. He's going to get called daddy on the court, and he can have his podcast buddy, JJ Redick, and who's going to espouse about the glory of the pick and roll and the majesty of.
Hey, don't hit on the pick and roll.
Two high safeties and everything. Shut up, JJ Redick.
2 high safeties, that's football, but. When I coached basketball, when I coached basketball, I always told the kids, we started pick and roll. It's the oldest thing in the book. You know why? Because it absolutely works.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? If it works, it works.
Freddie, anyways, will it work tomorrow night against the Timberwolves?
Can we talk about some good teams?
Should we talk about the Timberwolves?
Let's talk about the Timberwolves. Okay. Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards. Awesome.
He's incredible.
I think last year was they were better than everyone thought.
I think he's bad.
I think he's a great athlete. I think
I'm better than him.
That's the take.
That's what I believe.
I have seen Jacob and Anthony Edwards play.
Never in the same room, notably.
It's a close call. It's a close call.
Have you seen Anthony Edwards play?
I have, and it's a close call, dude.
Where'd you see him play? Was he Timberwolves or?
It was in my dreams. Yeah.
Wasn't in real life.
No.
I've never seen Anthony Edwards play basketball once. People tell me he's good, I believe them.
All right.
But I
Nice
think he's
basketball.
no, I
Julius
think he's.
Randle, how do we think that's going to fit?
Oh yeah, he's.
Mike
I
Conte,
forgot he's on the Timberwolves now. I mean, can
Rudy
he stay?
Gobert,
Can he stay healthy?
Nas Reed,
That's the question.
Can Julius Randle actually stay healthy? And
Mike
also, like,
Conley,
Oh,
how's
okay.
who's coaching?
Nikhil Alexander Walker,
All right, brother.
Just naming dudes.
Pablo
Jacob,
Prigioni, assistant coach.
but Jacob, I'm sure you want to hear some information about Julius Randle.
Not really.
No,
I do.
Yeah, okay. Yes,
Julius Randle, is he going to
Come
stay
on.
healthy?
Julius Randle. Okay, let me tell you something about Julius Randle. Watching the Knicks games that I did, he didn't really have a lot of athletic wing options. Right, it ran through Brunson a lot. Josh Hart was decently athletic, but not really. Having a guy like Anthony Edwards is really going to help his AADR.
We lost
And-
Feldstein.
He's not here.
He just popped off the street. Anyways, carry on.
All right,
He'll be back.
Oh, he better get back because this is big stuff. Why don't we wait for him, Freddie? Why don't we talk about something else?
Oh, here he is.
All right.
Just give me more editing to do. Thank you. Just give me more editing.
I
Anyways,
do not know. I don't know what I just did.
back to Julius Randle.
I'm sorry.
Brother,
The athletic wings.
you missed.
I pressed a button on the side of my headphones.
All right.
It killed the
Let me continue
killed the
the stat.
momentum.
Back to Julius Randle.
That killer thing you were saying.
Yes, it's really important. Now he has Anthony Edwards on his team. His AADR is going to go
AADR stands for
Take a guess, Freddie, first.
because Jacob knows.
automatic drive something. I don't know what.
No, Freddie, that's not it. It's a
Anti-athletic deficiency rate.
no.
That's so not.
No, Jacob was mistaking you for the other AADR. This one is the assist to attempted dunk ratio.
Okay.
Oh shoot! I was thinking of
Yes,
anti-athletic deficiency
which is
effectiveness.
the ratio at which passes could have led it to a dunk, but they didn't.
Yeah.
So
to know.
yeah, exactly. So Julius Randle having Anthony Edwards on the wing right dish, completed dunk. His AADR goes up. The whole team, the whole stadium goes crazy. It erupts.
Tell you who else is going to help with that is Rudy Gobert.
Rudy
Gobert is not the greatest offensive player, but is always there.
Yeah.
That's a big dude.
What does he help people improve?
Defense.
AADR, baby.
AADR.
That's all that matters.
I feel like I've talked about this on the show, but when I went to the Knicks Celtics home opener at the Garden last year, when Julius Randle gave like the lamest hype speech to the crowd, I feel like I've told you both this when they give him a mic or ladies and gentlemen, Julius Randle, and he's like,
Ladies and gentlemen.
we've been working really hard this season, giving you a season you deserve, and then just drops the mic.
I don't even believe that. I believe your story. I don't believe
100% happened.
No, I believe
I
that.
just don't know if I
he's been
believe what he
horrible.
was saying, but maybe they wanted someone to give a speech and he was the one guy they thought could put two words together. I don't know. It just seemed like an odd hype speech.
Ladies and gentlemen,
they couldn't get
Julius
Tom
Randle.
Thibodeau to do a hype speech.
Julius Randle, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude,
They couldn't contract Jameis Winston. to give a hype speech
Should we talk about that?
I mean, that's football, but yeah, for a second.
No, should we talk about the Cleveland Browns quarterback room?
It should be Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, when he's healthy, should play. That's all we're going to say on that matter. The Golden State Warriors.
I don't care about them, man. They lost.
The Steph
You went
Curry,
0 for 10
give him a
in the
chance.
elimination.
As long as Steph Curry is on the court, Juve
He's
have a
not gonna
chance.
be.
They
I don't even know if they're a playing team.
I mean,
They might scratch for playing.
Steve Kerr literally said every position except Curry's is up for grabs. Curry's the only guaranteed starter.
Is that true, though? Do you believe that?
Kuminga's
I mean, no,
starter.
but I think he just wants to put that out there to say
Draymond?
they don't know. But even Draymond might come off the bench.
Draymond Green.
All right, how
Football
many games is Draymond getting suspended this season?
Over.
Okay, what's
Over,
the
I
over?
don't care.
I'm gonna put it
six.
at 5.
I forgot how much I hated Draymond, dude.
I'm gonna take the 6.
Fucking
All
till he
right, you
dies.
think it's gonna be over 5?
Yeah, I do.
hammering
I
you over.
think he's probably gonna get 16 tax if that's a game right there, because you get a game suspension if you get 16
We're trying to
tax.
count out the times he's gonna get. We don't know.
No.
It's
I'm just trying to
happen.
figure out. I'm just trying to figure out the math of how he could get over 5 games, because he's gonna get at least one just by getting 16 technical fouls.
I think when he just punches somebody in the face.
And also I think I think he has a way less leeway than I don't think he gets treated like every player because of his reputation.
Yeah, when he like
Like
uppercuts Steve
if
Kerr in
if
the
you
belly
know if a nice
or in the
if like a
sternum
guy
this
who's
time.
never had an infraction like punches someone, maybe they'll get a game. But like with Draymond, that's 5 games.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's super detrimental to your team, especially when your RFF has declined every year. It's
Okay,
like
RFF. What the fuck?
I gotta be honest, I actually don't know what RFF is either,
You're
Simon.
just
So you
making up
gotta.
words.
you guys are
What are
crazy.
you talking about? These are all from Second Spectrum, right?
They are.
No
They are.
Star, but there's
I
also
got them
other.
prior to this interview.
I'm glad you
It
did
is-
research.
It is the rebound friction factor.
Rebound
Yeah,
friction.
It is the factor at which a player's hand creates friction with a rebound.
That's right.
When they're grabbing the ball.
Sounds like
That's
Dennis
right.
Rodman's favorite stat.
And so players with bad hands, is another way to look at it, right? It's if you don't create a lot of friction with the ball, bad hands, bad hand. He's been
That's
getting
right.
worse.
That's
All
right.
right.
Let's talk Clippers.
Let's talk Clippers. Paul George is gone. Kawhi is already injured. There's something.
Can you tell us about the Clippers?
Kawhi's already injured, I think. So I don't know what to think of the Clippers. The only thing I like about the Clippers is you're just sitting on your bed.
No, can you see me?
Yeah.
I mean, you're from a distance, but sure. All right, Clipper. How do we think about the new stadium? The Clipper Wall. Is it going to be cool?
Tell you about this stadium.
Is the Clipper Wall going to be cool?
It is like measuring.
The tomfoolery in this call. This
They're
is
going to
fun.
be like measuring how loud you are, and then you could like, if you're the loudest, you scream at the top of your lungs, we'll give you a hamburger. Like that's essentially what it's so dumb. It's like you're not allowed to wear opposing team's clothes on that wall.
One of the times I went to a Boston College football game, like they were trying to get the fans to be loud because it was like the last game of the season. So they were trying to bribe fans with IHOP. This was like a meaningless, like last game of the season. Both teams like had gotten 6 games, were bowl eligible, and they're like, if you get above a certain decibel level on defense, you'll get to go to IHOP and eat free pancakes. I'm like,
that's terrible.
No one's here. Anyways, so yes, the Clippers I don't think will be that good. Other West Mavericks. Let's talk about the Mavericks. Klay Thompson is now a Maverick.
0-10 elimination game.
Does that make them a clear-cut finals contender?
Freddie, he sucks, dude.
Freddie,
but the thing
sucks,
is
dude.
I don't.
He's not going to start for him.
But the thing is, I think he will give him 3 points or 3 points in a corner.
Wow,
I think it's
you're right,
role.
Freddie. That would be really good.
No, it's a good role for him.
3 points.
No, 3 pointers in a corner. I think it's a good role because I think he doesn't have to do that much.
They say
he just will be open because they'll be collapsing on Kyrie or Luka, and he'll just be draining threes. That's all he's going to do, and that's okay.
Let me tell you about the Nuggets, Freddie.
Yes.
I appreciate what they're doing. One of their young guys, actually, if we're doing real, needs to hit. Whether it's like Peyton Watson or like whoever, because they have all the good guys. But if they want to start working their way back, sorry. If they want to start,
so funny. We're just talking about the Nuggets.
If the Nuggets want to become contenders for many, many years, they can do it around Jokic, but everyone else is not going to be able to stay.
Is that what they have been doing?
It is what they have been doing, but one of their young guys needs to hit to take that next step, kind of like what the Warriors did.
Okay, Simon, stop chasing your dog.
Kind of like what the Warriors did, where it's, or what they tried to do, where it's like, oh, we'll get Wiseman, we'll get,
Well, with Wiseman, that was circumstantial because they were so bad that one season that they were able to get Wiseman.
But you got to take advantage of that, and I do think
Wiseman was Wiseman. Like, I don't think Wiseman was ever that good.
Jokic can easily lead this team back.
Wiseman played 3 games in college before, like, being.
I'm saying what he was indicative of is their effort.
I'm a big Wiseman believer.
Really?
He is a wise man.
It's a wise man.
I think he got the short end of a stick.
What team's he on now?
He got traded.
To
Blazers?
In the postseason? Or not postseason?
Blazers?
No, he's not on Blazer. Aiton is on the...
He was on the Blazers.
Let's talk Blazers.
What about him?
I'm a huge Blazers guy.
I am too, man.
I'm a
Scoot,
big Shaden Sharp guy.
Shaden, Denny, uh,
Rip City's dead. Like, there's nothing
Nah.
like.
who's a power forward?
I don't know.
I don't even know.
Jeremy Grant or
Yeah, it's Jeremy Grant and
No one.
Aiden and then the other young guy.
Good for the Blazers. I just don't think they could pop off, but I just don't think they're there yet.
They're over under set at 48 games. Vegas has them really good.
Okay. I don't see a world where they win that.
if you don't think
It's not really 48, Freddie.
if you don't think that Scoot Henderson is going to improve his
The name's
CPHI this year and
Scoot.
lead them to a win
Your name is
in the
Scoot.
playoffs, you're
Scoot
crazy.
the Moot Henderson.
Like,
Yeah, dude. He's going to improve his CPHI.
would you ever, if a guy
win.
came up and he's like, "Yo, my name's Scoot," would you instinctively think, you know what? Good basketball player.
Yes, probably. He looks like one.
I mean,
Yeah. Oh,
if he looks like one. It just Scoot.
And what the hell are you doing, man?
Yes, Simon. This is
You're like humping the.
all right. Well, we
Why
got
be-
like a
why
minute
be-
left.
I be humping the phone like
all right,
that, man.
with the last minute.
Oh,
Finals. All right, finals prediction and then winners before we leave.
okay. I would say that would be a good time to talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder. They were the 1 seed last year.
They were.
Got an Alex Caruso. I think they're going to be good. Lou
All right, we
Dort.
got less than a
Chet
minute.
Holmgren's
So.
going to take another step. That is my pick.
Okay.
Going against the Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics in 7.
Simon.
My pick as well is it's not exciting, but the Thunder versus the Celtics, and I have
Good pick.
I have the Thunder
Losing in
in
7.
All right.
Losing in
I
7.
have. I'm gonna take a different take. I got Celtics Nuggets. Celtics in 5.
Wow.
All right. This has been awesome. Always fun
That's
doing this. Love talking ball with you boys. All right. I'll see you guys later. We got a fun weekend of college football, and it all starts on Friday night with Boston College taking on Louisville. I know we talked a lot about Boston College early on this season. Turns out they're not very good. It's hard to watch them. So I was wrong. I thought Boston College was pretty good. They aren't, but they got time to turn things around, and maybe it'll be at least competitive. It's a lot of home games for the final stretch of the season. So again, I spoke a lot more highly of them early on, and you know what? I was wrong. They're not that good. All right, moving into Saturday, we got a fun one in Columbus with Nebraska taking on Ohio State. Now, Nebraska has regressed a little bit, but they're still a good football team, and this would be a huge statement win if it could pull off this win. I don't think they will, but maybe it'll be a closer game than you would think, but they're not as good as Ohio State. Ohio State is pretty darn good, so I think it'll be a fun game, but I think Ohio State's still going to win. We got a ranked matchup between Notre Dame and Navy. Now, Notre Dame is still in must-win territory because they still had that loss to Northern Illinois. They can't afford to lose too many more because, again, they can't win their conference because, they don't have one. So I think, they're in must-win territory, and this is a big test for Notre Dame. Navy, on the other hand, wants to prove that they are, in fact, a very good team. So this is going to be a fun game. We'll see how this shapes up. We also have College Game Day going to Bloomington, Indiana for the first time as the Hoosiers take on the University of Washington. Now, their quarterback might not play, but they found a way to keep the offense going last week. But that being said, Washington could give them a run for their money. They're not that great, but again, I think this could be a very fun game, and I think we'll see what happens. I think the crowd's going to be rocking. Obviously, game day is going to be rocking because when has game day ever gone to Bloomington, Indiana? When has any media outlet gone to Bloomington other than for basketball? Never. Indiana football is never good. So this is going to be a great atmosphere, and hopefully Indiana can get the win. We got a ranked matchup in Oregon as the number 1 team, the Oregon Ducks, take on Illinois. Illinois is a good team. Don't get me wrong, but they haven't played a team like Oregon. I don't think they're ready for Autzen Stadium. I think Oregon is a great team, so I think Illinois is no match for the Ducks. We have our first of 3 ranked SEC matchups. A lot of ranked matchups this weekend. This is a great weekend of college football right here. And in the SEC, we got Alabama taking on Missouri. Both teams need a win. Missouri wants to prove that they are, in fact, a good football team. And Alabama wants to prove they're still the same team that beat Georgia. I didn't really have it on my bingo card that this game would have so many ramifications for the playoff, but that's what's great about the 12-team playoff. These things happen. And then shortly after that game kicks off, we have another ranked SEC matchup with Texas coming to Nashville, where Vanderbilt hopes to show them how to play some SEC ball. Texas is really hoping to get a bounce back win, and Vanderbilt wants to prove they're a really good football team. The stadium's still going to be covered in fans wearing burnt orange, but I do think a lot more Vanderbilt fans are going to come out for this one because when has Vanderbilt ever ranked? And, you got the win against Alabama when they were number one. I don't think you'll beat Texas, but stranger things have happened this season. So I think it's going to be a fun game. I'm looking forward to it. Moving into Saturday night, we got Michigan versus Michigan State. Both teams are not playing great, but this might be the first time in a while where the Spartans actually think they have a chance to beat Michigan. And this would be a big win for the program and first-year coach Jonathan Smith. So I think the Spartans are going to come out flying. I think, they see an opportunity to beat their most hated rival, the Michigan Wolverines. I think you got to take it, and this is the year to do it. Also, the Big Ten, Penn State is handing out Camp Randall to take on the Badgers. Penn State's a good football team, but Camp Randall's going to be rocking on Saturday night. So I think they're going to have their work cut out for them. And finally, we have our third SEC ranked matchup. LSU heading out to College Station to take on the Aggies. Again, Brian Kelly usually struggles winning big games with LSU, and this is going to be a loud environment. This is the biggest game of the SEC this weekend, and this will have a lot of standing ramifications on depending on who wins. It's going to be a lot of fun. College Station is going to be rocking. Moving into the NFL, we got an exciting weekend of NFL games, and it all starts on Thursday night with the Vikings heading out to LA to take on the Rams. The Rams need to win badly, but this is a Vikings team that is really good, and it's the first primetime game for the Vikings. So I think they're going to put on a show against the Rams. And I know the Rams got the win last week, but that being said, they still need to keep winning games. They're not that good. Moving into Sunday, the Packers are heading down to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. The Jaguars are really bad, so I think the Packers are going to take care of them. There's not a whole lot more I can say about this. The Jaguars are just back to being the lovable losers of the NFL. They had that run where they were good for a couple of years, but they're back to their old ways real quick. Tua Tagovailoa might play for the Dolphins on Sunday against the Cardinals, but who knows how good he's going to play. We got a battle of two awful teams with the Jets versus Patriots. The Jets thought they were good when they beat the Patriots, but that was their last win. And the Patriots want to come out and play, all right? Their coach calls them soft. If that's not motivating enough to prove your coach wrong, I don't know what is. So who knows who's going to win this game? It's going to be bad. We got a fun AFC North matchup between the Browns and Ravens. Now that Jameis Winston is the starting Browns quarterback, at least they will be watchable. I'm not saying they're going to be good. They won't. Or maybe they will. Who knows? But at least they will be more fun. We also got a fun one with the Eagles going to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. Bengals need to keep winning, and the Eagles are not a bad team. So I think this is going to be a fun game. We got a big NFC South game with the Buccaneers against the Falcons. Now, the Falcons got the win against the Buccaneers last time, but this game will be important down the stretch of the season. If the Falcons can get a win, we're going to have a good hold on the division. So this game is going to be a really good time. I think we're going to see two teams really playing for. It's not for the division, obviously. There's a lot of football left, but when it comes down to it, this game could mean a lot more. Moving into the afternoon, we got the Bills taking on the Seahawks. The Bills now have a strong offense with Amari Cooper. They were already a good offense. They just needed a true number one receiver, and they got him in Amari Cooper. The Seahawks might not have DK Metcalf, but their defense is still going to be good. So I think this is going to be an exciting game. I think, either team could win it. It's always hard to win in Seattle, so we will see. It's going to be a good afternoon game. We got a lot of great afternoon games. We got a potential battle between the number 1 and number 2 picks of the draft with the Bears taking on the Commanders. If Jane Daniels plays, this is going to be a very entertaining game. Caleb Williams is great. Jane Daniels is great, and it's just going to be who's the better quarterback between the number 1 and number 2 pick. That being said, Jane's definitely questionable. So if Marcus Mariota plays for the Commanders, I think the Commanders are still in very good shape. As for the Bears, they're looking to keep rolling after their bye week. But again, they still, just because of how good the division is, they still have an uphill battle to climb. Like, they still have to keep winning games because the NFC North is a very good division. We also have the Kansas City Chiefs with a new addition, DeAndre Hopkins, taking on the Raiders. The Chiefs were able to get a decent receiver to make up for all their injuries, and I just think it's unfair that DeAndre Hopkins and Patrick Mahomes are going to work together. I think it's going to work really well together, and it just makes the Chiefs that much better. Moving into Sunday night, we got what always seems to be a primetime matchup with the Cowboys and 49ers. The 49ers need a win, but with all the injuries, that's going to be tough. The Cowboys, on the other hand, are still struggling, and they got their own injuries to deal with, so this game really could go either way. And on Monday night, we have another primetime game in Pittsburgh with the Giants coming into town to take on the Steelers. The Giants seem to only win games on the road. Maybe they can find a way to get a big upset, but with the Steelers defense, I think Daniel Jones is going to struggle. It's going to be rough sledding for the Giants. They don't play well in primetime either, so I think we're just going to see some really bad football by the Giants on primetime yet again. I don't know why they give us Giants primetime games. It's really unfortunate. That's our show for this week. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back next week. Big Fred, over and out.